Alright, we're back at it because the Tyrants and the Ruiners are still going. And right now it is CrashinBoomBang against xImRaptor in ORAS. If CVB loses this game, the season is over for the Tyrants, and the Ruiners move on to the finals to face the Classiest. So, it's been a while since I've done ORAS, but I hope I can get to it. So, CVB's running something either very offensive or more balanced. And the reason I say either or is because it could be some sort of sash stuff with Excadrill, but it could also be something more balanced with the whole Clef Torn thing. So Volcarona is immensely threatening to Raptor's team, and honestly it might just win on the spot, because Sub protects from Trick, so he's gonna Quiver Dance twice, and Raptor's only hope is Psyshock once, and then Psyshock twice, if he's even Scarf Latios, and I don't think he is, because it's almost always Scarf Magnezone on those teams, and most people prefer Specs Latios, so it could be over very, very quickly. Well, we see Psyshock for sure, and CVB elects to just kill it with Bug Buzz, so he's not going right for the sweep. He's playing it safe. So, Raptor's using a team I think Luigi used in Smogon Tour Finals against Solwind. Looks familiar, although I might be misremembering, because I might have had a Lopunny. Anyway, so yikes, Manaphy is also a threat, although it's the kind of thing that, thanks to its speed and thanks to ORAS's blend of power and speed and bulk, it tends to not finish the job more often than not. He's going to have to blow a hole in CVB's team no matter what, and he goes to Metagross, which is a solid move, take advantage of Clef, Lottie, and Torn. That was strong. CVB's going to play a safe U-turn out. He's going to Scizor. Oh, he's going to Pursuit the Torn. Alright, so that makes it easier, although he's going to regenerate 33% of that off, unless Raptor gets up rocks before it comes back in. And now Scizor's in, so we don't know what the Scizor set is. We don't know if it's some bulky U-turn stuff. The kind of defensive Scizor really took a nosedive in ORAS with the growing popularity of Rocky Chomp plus Magnezone stuff. But he doesn't want to go to Magnezone and get super powered or U-turned on. He doesn't really have a lot of good options in general. CVB's two bug types are really, really threatening. Especially because Zone does not immediately kill Scizor with HP Fire, and he's going to Roost up. He's playing it safe because he knows that Raptor cannot both damage him into HP Fire range and switch to Magnezone on the same turn. So right now he's going to U-turn out, and in comes Volcarona again. Oh, he's Roost Superpower. Okay. Well, that works too. And now CVB's looking at a massive, massive advantage. Problem being that Scizor is now in meta range, and he's going to let it go, but Volcarona will live a hit, and he can also threaten with a Thunder Wave Latios, which Gliscor doesn't want to come in on because it would run Ice Beam, and Manaphy definitely doesn't want to come in on, so being able to scare it out will be worth it. Plus, CVB really loves Heat Wave Torn, so push comes to shove and whatnot. And Pursuit and Thunder Punch, you know, it's not going to fit every move it wants. It's not going to have Zen Headbutt for Volk and Hammer Armor Earthquake for Excadrill and something to hit Clef. So he does avoid this, but at what cost? And it's really looking like CVB is running away with this game, as Manaphy's coming in to hit Ice to the Ice Beam, but it's going to do what in return? Get T-Waved and then beat by everything? Because it's not going to not get hit by two T-Waves, so even in the case it is Lum, Raptor needs an obscene amount of luck to win this game. I don't even know if it's possible. Probably, but CVB would also have to really try and choke it away. So, right now he's coming up clutch when the Tyrants need him most. And I might keep going after this if Heist and what's the guy he's playing? Well, if the DPP game starts. So he's going back to meta, and now he has no choice but to win a speed tie and go for, I don't know, an Ice Punch Freeze. So it's really Dan, by the way. Oh, it is Ice Punch. No freeze. He would have to win the speed tie and freeze or crit. So not great odds. Meta is down. Volk looking... Okay, it's not completely over because now this Latias will get pursuited. And if it's like Rock Slide Gliscor, which some of them do actually run because Volcarona is a threat, then it's not... It might not be as much of a runaway game as we imagine. I have to assume that he's got to have other anti-Gliscor options, though. Because it's not like he's going to have, you know, these 5 Pokemon completely walled by Gliscor and then an Ice Beam Latias. I have to assume there's going to be an Ice Beam on Clef or HP Ice on Torn. So he's going to have to find a way to pressure it somehow. And I'm assuming this Latias is Colbur. It's not going to be enough to beat it if it switches out. Or if it stays in, but if it switches out, it is. So I think he's trying to figure out, what am I healing wishing to at this point? Because, I mean, it's better than doing nothing and dying, and damage on Metagross doesn't do anything because, I mean, it might. I guess he's calcing right now to see if he wants it in Heat Wave, Torn range or something. There have been some crazy Torn sets this SPL, like non-Hurricane. I mean, I've seen that in Sun and Moon, but not in ORAS before. And you actually got to hit Keldeo in this gen, so I don't know. It's still a good set. The people who are using them know what they're doing, but a lot depends on the sets here. So you can see my hesitation in thinking, oh, maybe it's like super offensive. It might still be super offensive Clef. Life Orb being the current flavor in ORAS, but I just assumed maybe some super suicide stuff. But no, he's definitely taking the more balanced approach, which in retrospect is more obvious, but of course I can say that, it being in retrospect and all. So, he's absolutely got a Healing Wish, and, I mean, the 12% on Volk, hey, that's 12% on Volk. We should calc if Rock Slide from Gliscor actually KOs. I have to assume it does. Volcarona's pretty frail, but you never know, because Gliscor's attack stat does not inspire fear, and, you know, it's a pretty weak move, all things considered. Yeah, so it's a roll against 0 bulk, and since Volcarona does not really have a reason to run max speed, all it needs is to outrun Scarflando, then definitely. So he decides to say, you know, if he full paras, I'll take that, and he's not Colbur after all. So he's going to go to Volk and force the issue with Dance. Oh my goodness, that did not just happen. Wow, well he's still going to be faster, but he's getting revenged by Gliscor. It's still depending on sets. He should be advantaged just because Torn is such a threat and Clef is such a threat. I mean, if he Swords Dances for free with Gliscor, then that's another thing. And the worst thing is that he can Swords Dance and then Roost fairly feasibly, because that Gliscor is really bulky. So, instead of like Flame Body burning, which is a lot more likely, he didn't full para either. He Thunder Punch para'd. Oof, that's tough stuff. So right now, whatever Raptor sends in, CBB is obligated to stay in and attack. He cannot do anything else, and he's going to deal with it by dealing with it. Excadrill is completely useless. Okay, he's going for Manaphy. He knows he can live. Is he going to go for it on the full para, or is he just going to attack? Because he's not going to beat Torn without a boot. Well, maybe he is. Torn's Hurricanes are 3-hit KOing this, for sure. But it's also not doing much unboosted to Torn. So he's just going to go and hit it unboosted. And in comes Clef. So now we get to see what kind of Clef this is. A lot hinging on where the ice coverage is, if not on both. I would not be surprised to see that, especially given that CBB has a Scizor that is geared toward messing up Magnezone, so he could say, I don't need Heat Wave on my Torn, and I'll run HP Ice, especially because another reason for running Heat Wave on Torn, Bisharp, is also covered by Scizor. So, yeah, there's that, and I feel like it's going to be a Life Orb Clef. We've been seeing that the most this SPL. And it's going to fire off a really strong Moonblast. Now the EVs vary. But Manaphy is pretty religiously going to be, you know, maybe 72 bulk. I think that's how many EVs it has when outrunning Max Lando. Although they could go faster. Well, there's Tail Glow. It's Calm Mind Clef. This doesn't rule out Life Orb, but it definitely... Oh, wow, that is strong. Well, can it live a second one and put it in range? The +2 Moonblast, I think, would definitely put it in range for, if not Hurricane, then for U-turn into Hurricane. God, that is a modest Manaphy, so even CVB's Extra, which is surely going to be Jolly, would outrun it. So I think he has to go for that first, Earthquake it, and... I mean, if the Surf kills here, which is a very real possibility, then he might have to go for Hurricane Confusions, and even that's not guaranteed to work out, not just because of the odds, but because Manaphy could run Lumberry. So, yeah, he might, I don't know, have to Iron Head flinch or something. And it barely hangs on. He fires off a soft-boiled. Oh, man. We're playing with fire here. Another Tail Glow. Another Calm Mind. Uh-oh. It's... Oh, boy. I think most players would have just tried to knock it into range, but... I assume CVB knows the calcs better than I, but I don't know if that was necessary. Oh my god, he's not... Surely he's not going for this. Unless he really... Unless this Clef is Ice Beam and Torn doesn't have it, and he's going to lose to Gliscor if this doesn't work out. I don't think he can... Oh no, he just made a huge mistake by not going for Surf. That was an absolutely unforgivable mistake. You have to just attack him there. Like, you're out-damaging leftovers. You're doing 53... Or barely not out-damaging leftovers, but at this rate you just have to keep attacking. I don't know, because you don't want to give him even more Calm Minds. I guess maybe he thought if crit is going to win no matter what, then I may as well add a freeze on top of it. So maybe not an unforgivable mistake, but seems like... I mean, the odds are still stacked against CVB, but... so it's definitely not a Life Orb Clef as we see at this point, so... +3 is doing a lot, so what, does he have to go to +4? I think it's going to be +5 that he... +5, a guaranteed KO. Oh no, he's not soft-boiling this off. Yeah, he cannot Calm Mind anymore. He has to go for the Moonblast here. No, he is... Is he trying to PP stall this? Or he's just looking for some really nice rolls, but he's not getting them. This is playing in... with ridiculous fire. Imagine if this was like Metronome Manaphy or something. And there's the game. That was really, really, really absurd. I guess he just... So, from this we have to assume that he had to use Clef to beat the Gliscor. So that was ridiculous. That shouldn't have happened the way it did at all. And turns out the extra drill is slower, so who knows. So, thanks for watching, guys. That's leaving a sour taste, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm certainly at the edge of my seat, and yeah, next time.